Hold on just a second. Come on and broadcast. It's taking a minute. All right. In 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for day 5 of Ignite Your Soul Connection. This is the summer solstice edition, and all week long we have been talking about healing waters for men. I hope that you had a chance to join some of our conversation, but if you didn't, no worries. Next week we will post each segment of the show, and you can go back and listen as many times as you like. Tonight's conversation, we have a full panel discussion, and we will be talking about powerful relationships. However, before we get started, we want to let people come in, so we're going to give it a few minutes, and we're going to start right at the 3-3 mark with a short breathing exercise. So in the meantime, you can go and get you some coffee. Oh, no, it's too late for coffee. You can go get you some water. You can go get you some tea. Maybe pen and paper so that you can take notes. But we'll be going into our breathing in about 2 minutes, okay? We'll just give people time to come on. Thank you. That's all I get. Mute Kiana, Vicky, please. Greetings again, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Shemsu-t. I am the owner of Master Force and the founder of Master Force International Leadership Academy. Tonight we are bringing you an amazing conversation called Healing Waters for Men, and our discussion will be about powerful relationships. But before we get started, we want to synchronize our breath together so that we can all just take a moment and get grounded inside of being present and being relaxed. So the breathing that I'm going to offer to you is just a short inhale into your belly, and we're inhaling and exhaling through our nose. And you're going to breathe in, and as you breathe in, allow your belly to expand right at the navel area. If you want to, you can put your hand on there so you can feel the expansion as you breathe in through your nose. And then you're going to exhale out of your nose. And as you exhale, allow your stomach to collapse. And at each intercession, we will do a hold just for a few seconds, okay? All right, let's get started by exhaling all of the air through our nose. Now breathe in into your belly and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale through your nose, pushing in and hold. 2, 3, 4. Relax. Breathe in and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale through your nose, relaxing, letting go, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in deeply to your belly and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, relaxing, letting go, hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, releasing, letting go of any tension. Continue to breathe naturally for yourself. And then just take a moment right now and scan your body. Just notice if there's any tension any place. And if there is, just take your breath into that area and just release it with your breath. Allow it to let go so that you're relaxed and you're present. And any time during this conversation that you feel any tension or anxiety or discomfort, go into your breath. That is going to be the anchor to allow you to relax and expand and allow new concepts and new thoughts to enter into your realm so that you're not resisting. You can always toss out anything that we say that you don't like, but at least allow yourself to hear it in a relaxed state. Okay? Okay, now, I don't know how much of this conversation you've been with us this week, but on Monday, we started off with a smacking conversation about beyond the parent trap. And we have had so much feedback from people about that conversation. And Timothy, do you want to say anything about Monday? Anything up there for you that you forgot to say and needed to say?
First of all, blessings to everyone here, the whole panel. So grateful for you guys being here, to Divine Spirit and ancestors for allowing us to articulate this wisdom that has been given to each and every one of us. It's such a privilege to be here. Believe it or not, I got a lot of feedback from Monday, right?
Yeah.
I think I got it all out. Just getting back to the space, including tonight's conversation, just getting back to the space of knowing who we are and being able to finally hear, being sensitive to the voice of our internal parents, healing those voices so that we can hear the voice of our mates, our children. This is very important. So I think I got it all out. It was such a fun thing to do. People were really kind of moved by using the example of how we have a soul family, and our parents are part of that soul family. And some of the choices that they made to, when they incarnated, we may question now, but it is ultimately for our highest good and our highest awareness. It's never about what we go through. It's about the destiny and the purpose in which path we take, So if we don't get so preoccupied with what has happened and start to focus on why and for what purpose this has happened, I think we'll be more empowered in our work.
Very cool. Thank you. That is so powerful. I hear some books being written through.
Oh, okay.
I can hear it. That's right. And then on Tuesday night, we had a really great setup because we had the elder and the youth inside of a conversation called Empowered Emotions. And so, Marshawn and Martin, do you have anything that you need to say about Tuesday? Was there something left or something that you need to tell us again, or even just share any feedback that you may have heard? Either one of you.
Tuesday was great. Tuesday was great. But I think it was definitely a conversation that's needed because I feel like not just men, but women as well of my generation. We have a hard time. We have a hard time finding our inner voice, but also not being swayed to depend on others to get us to our fulfillment in life.
Whoa.
Yeah, a lot of us are looking. I feel like a lot of the people in my generation, we are looking for others to come into our life to save us. But everyone that's coming into that life are part of that, pushing us to that journey to build ourselves up and, really heal ourselves and go out into the world and help others and help ourselves.
Okay. I hear that. And I'm going to continue to listen in ways to support what you're doing. I love the mentoring circle that you're developing because, we have one of our principles is what? One of our principles in Master Force as far as saving is concerned. Do you remember that one?
Oh.
Anybody remember what that principle is in Master
No
Force?
saving.
No rescuing.
No rescuing.
Oh yeah, no rescuing.
No.
Yeah, that's why I say that's why with my friends that would be another thing that I will mention as well. Sometimes with your friends and people, sometimes it's best to just be there for them while they're going through the moment and not necessarily be there to help them and get them through what they're going. Sometimes they just need to be there in the moment to realize, gain some clarity from certain things and build themselves up.
Yeah, that's right. Hold space for them. Very cool. Okay, what about you, Martin? What about you on Tuesday night? Any feedback for you or anything that you needed to say that was left out of the space?
Well, I don't think anything was left out of the space. You able to hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But what I want to say and I want to reiterate is that we're really whole and complete when we're complete with both our masculine and feminine side. Mm-hmm. And when we deny being male or female, when we deny that other side of us and don't embrace it, we really miss out on probably half of who we are. Mm. And in the wholeness of it, we become bigger than the two halves. So just, men being able to cry and women being able to be strong, however strength looks like, and men being able to express their emotion in ways that we normally don't do it. It's amazing. I know for myself, when I left home for the first time from Toronto, and I got in my car and I hit the highway, I started bawling because I realized I was leaving my family for the first time, and it was so freeing just to be able to cry and bawl my eyes out. And then life happened, and I created a fantastic family out of it. And had I not left, and had I not had the audacity and the willingness to experience it, I wouldn't have the two beautiful boys I have. So, embracing both sides of self is very, very powerful.
Very cool. Thank you, Martin. And then, of course, we had Dr. Tammy on Thursday night where we were having an amazing conversation about health, sex, and well-being. I think we spent a lot of time on sex, but did we leave it? Dr. Tammy, did you remember some other things that we should have said?
Well, we don't talk about sex enough. Sex is natural, it's expression. So
yes.
I wanted to shake up the week just a little.
Yes.
About that, but I think one of the main things in which I hold in my soul is to become the one you want to attract. So when I am focusing on becoming, right, I don't have time to judge and all of that. You attract who you are. Mm-hmm. So when we are in relationships and friendships and things, and, we talked a little bit about mirror work, and someone had a question regarding that. It's just going back to the table and saying, okay, well, what parts of me is showing up? What work is it that I need to do? And then trust the process, because the universe is going to bring you what it is that you need on your journey that's going to help to further you along the way. So you got to trust the process. And I think in layman terms, it's like, don't sweat the small stuff, just be.
Just be.
Yeah.
And then I can't forget Wednesday, where we did our we grounded ourselves spiritually with Osir. And, I don't know about anybody else, but I thought that it was an amazing demonstration to have the sun set on the conversation. I thought that was a great example, right, of being in nature and watching it as it played out. Osir, was there anything there for you that you needed to add?
I think what needed to be said was said, and those who has ears to hear heard. Just the whole topic of grounding ourselves, getting back to nature. And when you understand nature, the word nature comes from the Kemetic word natur, and that is being one with all that is around you. And when you ground yourself with nature, you ground yourself with who you are. So I think everything that was said was timely. And I believe those who have ears and those who were present got it. And if they wasn't, they got to listen and get it. So
yeah, but we'll be posting. Yeah, we'll post to you all's page too, to each speaker. We'll post 3 places, one on YouTube channel, one on the Ignite Your Soul page, and then to each of your pages so you can share with your groups too. And then tonight we're introducing 2 other fabulous coaches. We're introducing the doctor and the therapist. So, Dr. Marlene, can you please introduce yourself to the public, to our audience, because they have not met you, and just give them a little bit about who you are, so when you're talking tonight, they'll be able to remember that. Okay.
Okay. Well, my name is Dr. Marlene Fain, and I am a doctor of organizational management, specializing in communications for executive leadership. I'm also the, the founder of Spiritual Foundations Unlimited, which is a organization that supports and undergirds humans who are floundering on their spiritual pathways. So I have been a transformation enthusiast and activist since 1986. Mm-hmm. I am a Master Force life coach. What else?
A grandmother.
Oh yeah. I'm a grandmother. I'm actually a great grandmother of 12. My goodness, great grandchildren. So, but I'm still I'm seasoned, but I'm a youthful, seasoned person. Mm-hmm. So, and we're talking about relationships, which I have had a plethora of them in every shape, form, or fashion you can imagine. So whatever we're going to discuss in regards to relationship, I'm pretty sure I might have something to say about it.
Okay.
Okay. And there we go.
Thank you, Dr. Payne. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you.
Okay.
All right. And then to our fabulous card reader, we have Kiana Need Thompson. Hey, Kiana, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys? I'm so excited to be here.
Tell people about yourself so they can know who they're listening to tonight.
Okay, so I am an executive Master Force life coach, and I am also the owner of Holistic Harmony, Mind, Body, and Soul, a solution-focused therapy agency with 100% satisfaction in building quality, passionate relationships. And I read cards, I do therapy as well as life coaching. I do a plethora of things, but that's the main umbrella.
Very cool. And thank you for shortening your busy schedule to be here with us. I know all of you are taking time away from your life, and you've really been very generous this week. So I do not take for granted, your time, your energy, and attention. So let's go right in on the conversation, right? Let's go right in. And let me ask you to really look and tell me if you could give me 3 things that would define a powerful relationship. You know, people say, well, isn't just being in a relationship enough? And I would say, no, it's not enough. Because we actually find people, or people actually come to us to ignite the greatness or to ignite things in us that were asleep, you know, or trapped, or we didn't even know about them, right? And so the universe sends these mirrors and these great people to us to remind us, hey, you're here for a purpose. And of course, we get mad at those. We get mad at our mates, right? Don't remind me, you know. So, yeah, powerful relationships would give us an opportunity to fully evolve, right? So, what would you say are 3 things that if people say, I'm looking to see, do I have a powerful relationship? What 3 things would you say would give you a hint that you're either in a powerful relationship or you're creating a powerful relationship?
I would interject there.
Please.
And what I would say is, you posted I think it was a poem, or anyway, it was a writing, and basically it was about the way that men treat women, and it was exceptionally well written. But the thing that it honed in on was intelligence, emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is something that people don't pay enough attention to, because it is the foundation of you. You know, in a relationship, each person, you know, people say a relationship is 50-50. No, it's 100% per person. Mm-hmm. So, and that being that each person is self-aware, each person is self-correcting, you know, in terms of they might need your support in terms of revealing their divinity to the level that, as you say, they are unfamiliar with yet. They haven't discovered that yet. However, the other person in their lives, on both cases, I believe they are to reveal the divinity in each of them. That, and to have implicit trust, you know, that you don't allow anything or anyone to come in between you. You know, it's like you're in a relationship and your best girlfriend in the whole wide world come to you and say something, and you trust and believe everything. However, you stop her at the beginning, because that is not, you know what I'm saying? It's her place as your friend, but it's unnecessary, because if anything is going on between you and your person, then you should already be clear about that. You know, does that make sense?
Yes,
what I'm saying?
Yes, and that's good. Okay. Don't go any further, because we want to save some for everybody, but those are good.
Yeah, no, that's it.
So I heard the emotional intelligence that everybody has to generate and give 100%. People need to be self-aware and self-correcting, and then there also needs to be implicit trust that no one can come between you. Right, and we'll discuss those, exactly. But let's just keep collecting. Okay, who? Let me see who had their thing off. Who's next? Okay.
Okay. How about me? Can I jump in?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like double dutch. You're waiting for your time to get in there. Well, I think for a relationship to be the question, I know you're in a powerful relationship. 3 things are happening. 1, you can celebrate your independence. 2, you celebrate your interdependence. And 3, you celebrate the dependence on what this relationship is bringing. Now, I'll back into that. The dependence is every relationship either is teaching us something or we're given something. So we have to be inside of the dependence on the fullness of that manifesting. Then the interdependence is the harmonizing, becoming one, but yet remaining oneness of self, not having to give up who you are in order to have a relationship. And then that very first one was the independence. To me, independence means liberated, and you only can be liberated when you know who you are. once you know that, then you're not becoming someone else inside of relationships. You're totally independent. Not from the sense that you're an island, but you understand that you are all that you need, and anything else is complementary.
Okay. All right. So I heard the ability to be independent or to culture independence, and the ability to be interdependent, meaning that you understand your relationship with your partner and you actually cultivate that, but also you trust the dependence, or you nurture the dependence that you have on your mate, knowing that there's a foundation there that you're creating so that the relationship can thrive. Like that's who you're dependent on, and it's not someone else. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, Martin?
One of the areas that, the three areas, the first one I would say would be clarity on who you are. When you're clear on who you are, you can deal with, you can work with the mate, and even when they're upset, because you're grounded, you're clear on who you are, you can listen to what they have to say and actually learn from what they have to say. That's one area. Another area is really looking at growth. That in the relationship that you're in, when you're growing, you're expanding your spirit, and the person's also expanding their spirit. Mm-hmm. And in the expansion, what you're also seeing is that, some things that were expressed before, the trust. Mm-hmm. That you express and you are trusting not just the other person, but trusting yourself. Because when you can trust yourself, you can trust anyone. And when you trust yourself, you're actually one with the Spirit, one with God. Mm-hmm. So, clarity, growth, mm-hmm. and trust.
Yes, clarity, growth, and trust. Thank you. All right, Dr. Tammy, do I see you ready over there?
I am ready.
Okay.
So when I think of three things, I think of the essence of a powerful relationship. So love, first of all. Being able to pick up the love in that relationship, the energy of that, the essence. Gratitude, and in the relationship, seeing that the focus is on being grateful for each other instead of looking at the things that each other lack. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I put was peaceful, but I think I want to change that too, because the other speakers, Martin, sparked something in me, and Asar, and that the creation, the ability to create. I think that a powerful relationship is a relationship in which you can create. That you have a similar vision, and then you have the ability to create based on that.
Very cool. So love, which definitely, I do remember going into a marriage where love was not on my criteria sheet. Duh, right? Love, gratitude, and the ability to create. Yes, that's powerful. Okay, Timothy, you ready?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. There you go.
Okay. So, real quick, for me, relationships represent two things. Okay, they're a reflection of our resistance, and they're reflections of our purpose. One of those two. I always have three questions as it relates to relationships. Number one, what is being born? Number two, what is being built? Number three, what is dying?
Wow.
And over time, we will experience one of those three questions. And again, it goes back to what is symbolic of how we met. Again, the person that we meet, it resembles our resistance or it resembles our purpose. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it can be both. It depends on how long you're willing to put up with each other in order to find out, right?
Yeah.
So those would be my three.
I love that. What is being born, what is being built, and what is dying. I love that. Can y'all hear that? Can y'all hear those books in here?
Please help me. Please help me. I need those gifts to write.
Hey. Okay. All right. Kiana, what you got?
So my 3 things that I've been working on and learning inside of these relationships is spiritual evolution. 1 is spiritual evolution. How are you better because of this relationship? 2 is the commitment to continue your own growth, like staying committed to your own spiritual development, your own spiritual evolution. And then 3, courage. To say the things that need to be said, to challenge your frightened parts when you're afraid to, lose someone. Can you still stand in your power? Can you still stand in your space and knowing that you need to say the things that need to be said regardless of the outcome?
Powerful. Oh my God, this is going to be great. So I heard spiritual evolution, and then your own commitment to your growth and your spiritual enhancement. And then the courage to stand in your own space and to say what needs to be said, even though it may not be in agreement with someone else. Courage. All right, cool. All right, Marshawn, take us out. What's your 3?
My 3 was 1, having an idea of self. Being that you want to go, for us to be powerful together with friends, romantic relationships, that we all truly understand who we are, the essence of who we are. Really understanding, for me, I go into relationships really looking at what is the purpose of this person being in my life, like what are they here to teach me. Second is understanding, because I feel like a lot of the times what causes breakdowns in relationships is that we never set a foundation or spoke up things that led to us being disappointed in moving forward in that relationship. And then a vision. When I say vision, it's that continuing idea of reciprocity to keep a healthy relationship, but also working to fix the things or heal the things within our relationship so that we can be in relation to each other.
Very cool. So what I have is having an idea or clear understanding of yourself. And then I know you said understanding for number 2, but what I heard was communication.
Yeah.
Communication so that you're able to reach an understanding. Okay? Yeah. So you can work things out. And then I love this 3rd one, having a vision of the relationship so that as you go forward, you're actually visualizing, going back to the ability to create, but you have to visualize it in order to create it. Right? And then, so here are my 3, okay, because I want to add to the conversation too, right? Being able to be vulnerable. Being able to be vulnerable with your partner, and then also them being able to be vulnerable with you. So having that softness. Also being open and able to give and receive nurturing, right? You will be surprised how many people do not allow themselves to be nurtured, nor do they nurture their partner. That's a missing. And then this last one is funny to me because I've been celibate for so long, but I'm still going to say it. Sexual deliciousness. Powerful relationships need to have sexual deliciousness, not obligations, and not it's Saturday, let's have sex. But literally sexual deliciousness, right? So now let's actually have a conversation. Can you hear now? I just want you to know that was almost how many things? That was like 25 pieces right there in a conversation called Powerful Relationships. But now I want to go backwards, because before we actually created this, how many of us have not had what this list says? Now give me a story, and everybody doesn't have to give me a story, but when have you been in a relationship where this was not present and you had no idea what to do to make it right? And I just want a short, because I want people to know we're dealing with real people. We're not dealing with facades, and we're not dealing with folks, I'm perfect, yeah, I've always gotten it right. No, that's not what we want. We want to help people move from, 0 to these 25 points. Martin, go ahead. You hit first.
I had to move to Chicago. I had been here for a while, and I hooked up with a friend of mine back from Toronto, and I was so in love. I was and I'm taking myself back to that time that I would do anything for this girl. And I would go back to Toronto and drive back. When she was coming to school in the U.S., I would go to Toronto and drive her back at times. And then I found out that she really didn't reciprocate. Like, she was going to Toronto and wouldn't tell me that she's going to Toronto. And it was difficult. It was hard. It was wrenching.
So in that particular case, you were willing to give anything to a person who was giving you almost nothing.
Well, just seeing her was what I was sufficient for a while, but it wasn't sufficient because it wasn't reciprocated.
Yeah. Very cool. Now notice we didn't put needs on here. Did you notice that? Because what you just spoke to, Martin, was that you also had needs, and it wasn't that you expected her to fulfill your needs, but your needs were present and not being met in that relationship. And you probably didn't know what those needs were, depending on how old you were. Because it took me years to realize that I had needs inside of a relationship.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Very cool. Thank you. All right, Osir, you were next. I see you, Tammy. You want Tammy to go? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I was married 30 years. And actually was in a relationship with her for almost 32 years before she died. We met at college, and the whole story. You was there for a long part of our relationship.
Yeah.
But for me, I've come to the realization that truly Tony was my twin flame. Mm. And most people would think a twin flame relationship is super harmonious. But even though we were like the best of friends, there was times where we gave each other some real serious lessons. And then towards the end of the relationship, we came to the realization that it was time to go our separate ways. Now, that was 5 years before she ultimately passed away. So for 5 years, we were in a separation, got the divorce, and then 6 months later, she passed. But mind you, we're friends through all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we were separated, ultimately divorced, she still was my best friend. And so one of the things I learned from that, one, by letting go the divorce or the separation was the letting go, not needing to make something be perfect, to allow people to have their expressions that they needed to have. I know I shared things with you and I couldn't figure it out, why would she do these things? And then it was the realization she wasn't doing anything to me. It was doing something for me because she was doing what she needed to do for her. Wow. So just being available to learn that your biggest lessons in life will come through the person you're most transparent with.
Wow, that's powerful. Yeah, thank you for representing. I love you bringing Tony. Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Absolutely. All right, Tammy, what's yours?
Okay, so I have been divorced about 20 years now. Wow. And I'm only 25, right?
Say 35. That's reasonable. Okay.
35,
there
okay.
you go. Yeah.
But in that relationship, I wanted. There were a couple of things. There were some mixed messages. So the descriptions that I listed, I didn't have, but I didn't even know who I was at that time to even know what was important to me. First of all, I wanted a relationship that was like Martin and Gina on the show Martin.
Oh,
A lot of laughter and fun and, just a good time. But also I was in the church, and in the church they have you to write this list of all the qualities you want in your mate. But I didn't even know who I was. So I'm writing these qualities that sound good, and I'm watching this TV show, and I'm saying, oh, that looks great. But none of that was what I needed. But I didn't know what I needed at that time. So that's my example.
Very cool. And that's interesting, right? Because you're writing a list, and it's like a wish list.
Uh-huh.
And you're not even connected to it.
Not even.
Yeah, because you don't know who you are.
Exactly.
Right. So even if you got what you wanted on that list, you may not even appreciate it.
I did. I'm like, okay, so I got it, but it's not doing anything for me, but it looks good.
Okay, yeah.
Sounds good.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now what would you say to people inside of wanting to create? They're in a relationship now, and it could be a dismembered relationship. It could be barely surviving, or it could be really a great relationship, but they're not inside of the ability to create. What would you say, Timothy, would be, something, some tools, some ideas, some ways of being? And also, if you want to respond to the last question, that's cool too, however you want to do it.
Well, I'll just approach it this way. So the idea is to find or attract in our space somebody that we can grow with instead of go with. There's so many people who want Mr. or Mrs. Right now instead of Mr. or Mrs. Right. And for me, and I don't even know if this response is even going to be related to the question at hand, but I'm just going to kind of flow with it, as it relates to relationships. The idea, kind of going back to what Tammy said, she made that list, right? She had an idea of what relationships should look like. And the whole idea of falling in love, that idea has to be dismissed. We never, to fall insinuates that one is to descend, okay? One is to be pulled down beneath into the darkness anyway. So me and my wife, we're telling people to always just stand in your love. Don't fall in love, because falling in love, you lose all sense of who you are, and you embrace who you are only in the symbolisms of your mate. So again, for me, going into a relationship, it's important that you have two people who are aware of themselves, two people who know themselves, because it's too much responsibility on our mates to bring our brokenness that we refuse to deal with. The brokenness is your own initiation into which you are empowered into self-knowledge. Whatever that is, if it's coaching, if it's therapy, whatever it is, do something for yourself to have an awareness to come in a relationship, because when you get in a relationship, there are mirrors. And if somebody says, I notice this about you, you should be able to recognize that. It's when we don't recognize the darkness within ourselves and we depend on somebody else to stand in our brokenness that we begin to experience conflict. In astrology, and cut me off if I go too long, I know we got a lot of presenters here tonight. In astrology, I put together something I didn't put it together. I use a tool called composite charts or composite charts. There we begin to see not just the compatibility of relationships with that. That's where a lot of people get caught up at. But we look at the purpose of the relationship. Okay. So what we do, we take two natal charts and put them into one. And that gives us an insight, not just where the sun will shine, but also where the darkness will begin to cultivate the spirit of that relationship. A lot of people, they don't really make it to that point. Why? Because you mentioned it before, talking to, I can't think of his name, Marshawn. Yeah, brother Marshawn, about we go into the relationship, and this coming from our conversation Monday, the need to be rescued instead of being empowered. So we're looking for our mates to do for us what we have resisted doing for ourselves. And that is going to always complicate the dynamics of what you're trying to build. Again, you're either going to meet somebody that symbolizes your resistance or your purpose. So with that, again, the whole idea of falling in love, wanting to meet somebody that sweeps you off your feet, which is cool. But can we bring a whole person into the relationship, one that is aware of their darkness, so that we don't put that pressure upon our mates to carry us into places that, we're not meant to go, So that's just one thing that I'm thinking about
that's really great, Timothy, because I really, part of our work is to get people to get a clear overstanding and understanding of their natal charts. I mean,
yes.
We bring that work up all the time with parents in our Tao of Parenting class, saying, listen, you want to nurture your child from their natal chart,
yes.
not from what they want to be when they grow up, because that's
yes.
almost imaginary, and it's based on something else other than what is their soul work. This way you can start at a younger age to move them into that. So it would make sense that when you're going to marry someone, you want to do a composite chart so you can get an idea, what is this person coming into my life to have me heal, build, or die to, whatever that is, right?
And keep in mind, Moot, when I look at this composite chart, we think we're just now meeting. I've done composite charts for relationships that show generation after generation after generation of reincarnation, because the relationship is here to be a classroom, not for you not to be a distraction from your pain. It's like relationships are a classroom in which we prepare ourselves to learn. So a composite chart, if I go to that 12th house and I see that sun, that lets me know that whether you were the male or the female or whatever, there has been a dance of complexities within the dynamics of that relationship that eventually one of you have to wake up and stop the cycle. Now, the universe has all the time in the world. It doesn't,
we get you next lifetime, whatever.
Yeah, just we'll see you next time. You don't want to you want to be selfish and a victim this lifetime? Cool, go for it. Yeah. You want to attract something that symbolizes your lower nature instead of your higher nature? Cool, we'll try it again next time. But eventually there's a theme to relationships. Okay, and you can see those in astrology. So, that's an extraordinary reflection with that, anytime I have the opportunity to do them.
Cool. And Kiana, so listening to what Timothy said inside of what tools we have that could be used to support couples going from zero to generating and creating. It's a thunderstorm. Just must like this conversation. Generating a powerful relationship. What are some of the tools that you could bring into this conversation?
We have a storm here too, Shemsu, and my power fleets and everything. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, come on, Mercury retrograde.
Exactly. Tools that we can bring inside of our relationship, there are many that we can do individually and as a couple. I think we talk really about the self-awareness piece, right, and the individuality. So that's prevalent. You have to be able to know your own stuff and be able to deal with your own things. So, breathe to center, meditation. I have my Bach Essence flowers right here to share with you guys. I use Bach Essence flowers, which is essence from actual different flowers that grow from the earth. And Bach is a man's last name, and he came up with a way to pull the essence out and notice how it helps us really get to some deep-rooted trauma. And so that's the thing I think is very important for people to know, and that self-awareness piece is that we all bring our stuff, whether it's from this lifetime, the last lifetime, the time before that, right? We got healing to do. And our healing helps us on our spiritual evolution. It helps part of our soul work. And our partner mirrors that to us. And so when we take care of ourselves and we're committed to our own growth, then we can do the things that serves our soul and we can be in partnership, right? Mm-hmm. So the ones that I have, these are my personal ones that I use. So I was like, let's talk about these because, it's real out here. So I use chicory. Yes. And this one is for help you let go of those you care for, allowing them to lead their own lives. Wow. And so this is important for me because I'm a Scorpio sun, I'm Aquarius moon, and I'm a Leo rising. I'm fixed all the way across the board, right? So I have a little, some with control. So I use this one to help me to relax and let the people I love lead their own lives. You cannot be in partnership and you're the one leading or thinking you're controlling somebody else. So that helps me with that. Then I have impatience. And that's exactly what it's for. Helps you deal with slow situation or people with good humor rather than irritability. So sometimes I want people to move the way I want them to move, at the speed I want them to move. My brain works really fast. I'm fixed. I'm ready to go. I'm fixing my thinking, my doing, and the way I feel, right? So I'm ready to rock and roll. And so a lot of people don't move the way I move or as fast as I move. So I use this one so that I can allow people to move at their own speed. Then I have Genation, which inspires a positive attitude when you feel discouraged or despondent due to setbacks. So when I'm in my own feelings, I don't get to blame other people or take it out on people. I got to do my work. And so this keeps me in a positive way and not take out whatever I'm feeling on other people. And the last one I have is Large, which instills a greater sense of self-esteem when you feel inferior. Fear, failure, or lack confidence. So when I'm not in my power, my space, I don't get to be a loser. I don't get to take out my fear from other people and my low self-esteem, my insecurity from other people. So I do the work. And so I use this so that I'm not a bully to my partner. Because the first thing we want to do inside of relationships is take our stuff out on other people and use them as a punching bag instead of the mirror that the beautiful reflection that they are for us.
Yeah, that's powerful. My favorite Bach flower that I carry with me in my purse is walnut, because it gives you the ability to shut out the noise of the world so that you can hear your soul telling you what to do. And I love walnut. Every time I'm making another move, I have to go and get me some walnut Bach flower because I'm never doing what people think I'm supposed to be doing. People say, oh, your grandmother, you're supposed to be taking care of grandkids. Well, I do in my grandmother way, but not in sitting in no rocking chair babysitting, So that's cool. Thank you for introducing Bach flower. Okay. And then who else? Anybody else have tools? What were you going to say, Kiana?
No, I'm not saying.
Oh, who was saying something?
I was going to say something.
Okay.
But
go ahead, Dr. Payne.
Well, it was a couple of things about the things that we've discussed already. Mm-hmm. The short version was Marshawn's saying that when he interacts with people these days, it's about deservedness and what do they want. I had a buddy ages ago she was a lady that I respected. I wanted her to be my friend, and I'm not the kind of person who says I want you to be my friend like normally. And she said to me, well, I don't know if you deserve to be my friend. And I was like, well, excuse me, to myself. But down the road in life, I was like, I understand now what she meant, because to be a friend, and that's in a relationship, I think you should be friends as well as lovers or whatever else you're up to. And the other thing was that Timothy said about in love. I used to tell people all the time, you don't fall in love, and they would get mad at me. And I'm like, you love or you don't love. And there may be levels of love, different depths of love, but that's based on how far and vulnerable you're willing to go, because most people, 99.75% of the world, are afraid of their vulnerability, and that's where their power lies. And the other thing is that love, I thought everyone knew what love was, but everybody thinks love is one thing, and they say, love made me do this, blah, 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 blah. I beat your ass because I love you. Oh, pardon me. But, that's not true, because love doesn't do that. And what I discovered is that mostly it's about lust, because most people are unclear about love and the depth of love and the way that one loves. And love doesn't hurt. Love is about growth and empowerment and building and all the things that we said previously. And in terms of tools, I would just, I would read and things like The Power of Now and Conversations with God and, things that are going to show you yourself in the mirror. That's if you're wanting to look at them, because everybody doesn't want to look in the mirror at our dark to bring them together, like Timothy said. So that's about it.
Very cool. Thank you, Dr. Bay. Go ahead, Osira.
Yeah, I have one of the tools that I use, and personally for myself, is the cards of destiny. Everyone that I'm in a relationship with in a significant way, meaning I see them all the time, they're in my space, I'm in their space. I look at their cards to see how they're showing up and as to what I'm supposed to be seeing and what lesson I'm supposed to be giving or receiving. And sometimes staying inside of a relationship with someone because I'm the one that's able to be the mirror they have to look at and not running from it. So I always ask in this relationship, this tool for me helps me see, am I to receive something or am I to give something? So that's a tool I use for me personally in my growth.
Very cool.
Greg, when you say to give, are you to give something or receive something? Is it not reciprocity on both cases? We both, are there to give and to receive to each other. I mean, because whomever I meet, whenever I'm with them, if I'm in contact with them, I do the same thing. Like I read who they are, I do the cards for my information, because they are not always, operating from the same place. But I was just wondering why you don't feel like it's the same thing. That it sounds to me as though it's separate entities.
Well, I can definitely answer that a little bit, because in the cards, there are times when people come into your life to provide something. Like, and it really does say that in the cards. Like, this person is here to teach you. This person is here to, this person is playing a structured role. And sometimes they're there to actually just adore you. The cards say that. So, sometimes it does give a specific, give and take. So I hear, well, go ahead, Osira. What were you?
And so for me, I don't always look to receive where I sow. Or I don't always sow where I receive. And so just being present to myself, why am I showing up in the space with this person? And what are they? First I ask, what are they here to show me, teach me? Then I ask, what am I here perhaps to give them? And when I look at the cards, it really comes forward. And it helps me stay where some people may say, well, you never even been in that relationship. True, it looks like it. But according to the cards, I know why I'm in this relationship. So I can stand. Now, I'm not in any relationship that causes harm, but it helps me to understand the dynamic of that relationship. Like our children. I have 4 adult children. And the love I have for them is not a love that is based on what they do as much as just them showing up as who they are. And I don't agree with a lot of it, but I know who I am to them in relationship to what they are to learn and what I'm learning from watching them. So, yeah. So with the death of my wife, I had to go from being very patriarchal to now become very matriarchal, learning learning how to operate in the divine feminine. And that happens in relationships, but it's so much easier for it to happen inside this relationship as with my children than it would be with a woman.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So now what I want to specifically speak to is inside of the work. You know how we all have some idea about mirror work. Dr. Tammy, can you talk about mirror work, and then everybody else can get to chime in? How is mirror work used as a tool inside a relationship? And then if you want to respond to any of those other questions while you're talking, that's fine too.
Absolutely. So I'm like Asar in regards to when I meet people. I like to do the cards, mm-hmm. and I like to be proactive in regards to the purpose of the connection. So unlike how I was maybe 20 years ago, where you meet a man and you go, "Ooh, I hope this is my husband." Because he cute. I don't do that no more.
Right.
And so in that, I get excited about the attraction, because I understand that my energy, anytime I'm picking up this energy and it's powerful, it's going to be something exciting. And it far exceeds a marriage life. At this point, if mm-hmm. there's a lesson, there's something there, quality, because every person is unique and valuable. So the fact that there's this energy there, I get excited. And so then I began to use the destiny cards as a guide to that. So then as situations and experiences are happening, instead of reacting emotionally to them and missing that lesson, I'm actually, again, understanding that this is a reflection. There's something that I need to learn here to see what part of me has shown up in this relationship, and then to get to, like, it's sort of a game to me to get to practice, and in order to develop that area in my life that I need to work on. And one of the examples in a very good quality relationship I was in a few years ago with my yoga boo in Africa, I got to deal with, I guess I think that relationship taught me vulnerability. Mm. I had to say to myself, this is how you feel, and it's okay to feel how you feel. Now let's work through it. Mm-hmm. And then being vulnerable and being able to speak to him, and not just him, but to others. This is how I feel. And then going within to do that work. So then gratitude then emerged, and even more so. So it was less having to do with some of the outward things that was happening, and the gratitude was more about how I was maturing and how I was developing inwardly, and then the kindness and the patience that I was seeing in that mirror for myself being reflected from him. Mm. And that was a totally different experience for me from my previous relationships, where jealousy may have shown up, and then I'm quitting you, I don't want to talk to you anymore, and there's no growth. Mm-hmm. So I think now mirror work for me is exciting, because I love myself, and I think I'm absolutely amazing, and I want to be more amazing. And I realize that the relationships that I'm attracting is helping me to do that and be that, and to realize, who I really am, all of who I really am.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Marshawn, is something coming up for you? Was something coming up for you as Tammy was talking?
Oh yeah, because for me in the past, I didn't necessarily do a lot of mirror work. I know when I got in my most biggest relationship, at that time, before I got into that relationship, I made sure that I took the time out to really get to know me, understand me, do things with me that make me happy. And then I just stopped looking. I was like, I'm not looking right now. Then it just so happened that the relationship fell into my lap. But then the relationship happened, and after that relationship, it really pushed me towards this idea of doing mirror work, really looking to, like I said, understand the purpose, or understand why they came into my life, or why am I in their life. And so now, and I agree with doing the natal chart. Before I go into any relationship now, I'm looking at your sun, moon, and rising. But also, for me, mirror work is more important because it's, I look at the reason for the season. And there are some people that just come into our lives to awaken in us something, or give us something that we needed at that time to continue on with life. And I wanted to respond to another question. I would say also, to have a powerful relationship is setting boundaries and having that bravery to go to the unknown. Because I feel like a lot of times with my relationships, my past relationships, there weren't any clear boundaries set. So I was intruding on a boundary that they had. They were intruding on a boundary that I had, that led to a nasty codependency issue that I recognized within myself through that mirror work. Mm-hmm. And also, what else did I say? How did I forget that quick?
Good. I'm glad. Did you all see that? A 22-year-old had a senior moment. Yay! Thank you for that.
But setting boundaries and having that bravery, because I'm in relation with a person now where I've been doing the mirror work, and I can see that he was put here to I saw that he had a vision of what he wanted his life like, and I know times in the past I've been very unclear about what do I want from my life and how do I get there. Mm-hmm. And it's just been so amazing to see the vision that he has with his life and what he wants to do, and it just inspired that in me to have my own clear vision. And also he's pushed me to that place where in the past as well, I didn't have that bravery to say the things, what I will and will not tolerate in relationships. And it's just really having that courage to, in that faith, that inner knowing that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay going through that. Mm-hmm. But I love the mirror work, having things being brought up to really work on yourself. Because like Timothy said, every relationship is the classroom on the relationship you are having with yourself. And I love meeting people that come into my life that are showing me what I need to work on. That energetic invitation of what is really here for me and what I need to do.
Cool. Thank you, Marshawn. Timothy, give us some more in-depth look at mirror work, and then Kiana, you're up next.
Okay, cool. First of all, let me just say how much I'm enjoying this whole conversation.
Mm-hmm.
All of the panelists, so informative, so insightful. Thank y'all for that. And I also want to thank my teacher in relationships, which is my wife, Jaquay. We're getting close to 20 years now. And, if we could make a movie of our relationship, it would totally destroy this fantasy world of how meaningful relationships, begin to grow, because we weren't always these people who share reflections, combining this masculine, feminine force and getting wisdom. We were these people who you may be some gunplay, maybe some knife fights, a lot of cussing, a whole lot of cussing. But see, again, this is why I say find somebody you can grow with, not just go with, because just even as parents, we have enough sense that if our children, around 4 or 5 years old, you don't buy them clothes that fit them now. You buy them clothes that they can grow into. Relationships are the same way. Have some, you got to have vision of where you're going, but you got to look at where the mirrors are shining in your eyes right now. And mirror work is extremely important. Again, in order to recognize yourself in the mirror, you have to do the work to know yourself. We go into relationships with unrealistic expectations. Number one, we cannot meet anyone at the place they have not met themselves. Okay? Can we just get that in our heads? You have these expectations of how they're going to show up, but they have never investigated themselves through any type of accountability, such as therapy, such as coaching, such as mentorship. We need these things individually so that we can limit the distractions that mirror work comes with. Now, with that being said, again, composite charts. Astrology is the sacred use of time. It's not for you to, wonder, well, when my husband come in hell, I'm lonely, and people come in with that mindset. And I'm like, yo, chill, because astrology is about you awakening within the relationship. Okay. And we got to understand what attracts us to relationships. It is not, again, even as Dr. Marlene said, it is not love at first sight. It is the pain underneath the surface that is the magnet for all relationships that are meaningful. So if you see somebody that's attractive to the eye, you better know the soul knows the medicine it needs to heal. And you're going to connect with those people. An interesting reflection, I was looking at a study, Moot, dealing with dating. It's done got so bad with the inner work. We just, on dating sites trying to get the hookup now. It's too hard, to do the work and then wait on the universe to mirror the work that we've done. So we have dating sites. And there were dating sites and apps like eHarmony that you put down a whole lot of metrics within that to try to establish some form of compatibility. Okay. The funny thing is, in today's dating apps, which I am not aware of, my wife had me pinned down for a long time here. Okay. So not really familiar with the dating apps. I'm just going on what I've read, such as Tinder and other apps. You just kind of look at a picture, and if it's something that you like, you click on it.
Oh, wow.
That is true. That is very true.
What?
Yeah. So, well, hell yeah. I got an amen here. So here's the funny thing. Even with all the metrics of eHarmony, and even with the just random selection of something like Tinder, just looking at a picture, it is the same amount of compatibility with both.
Wow.
Which lets me know that it's something deep within us that is attracted to the pain that needs to be healed. And somebody holds the recipe for that healing that's in our awareness. And it doesn't matter how much you know about that person. We know what we need to heal whenever we see this person. And it comes off as a romantic feeling. It doesn't come off as, oh, hell, this is a lot of work to get done. Let's get to it. It comes off as this warm and fuzzy feeling that, all is right in the world, and that's the way it should be. But again, we have to grow out of that and allow room to grow within ourselves. Okay. So, it's all about the expectations that we're bringing in. and healing and recognizing the mirrors, and a lot of these mirrors are not our own. There are certain men who want to connect with women, but you are bringing the expectation from the lack of nurturing you receive from mother, and you're putting that onto a wife, and you expect there to be some electricity, especially on a sexual level, when you have the expectations of a mother onto the woman that you want to connect with. We got to heal that first so that we can recognize it in the mirrors that show up with them. Again, we meet and we're attracted by the pain that is hidden, not by the attraction we see. Wow. Okay, so the mirrors are enormous whenever you take two people who have not done the work of self-discovery, because it's offensive for somebody to point out to us something we have never witnessed. Now, my wife today, she can say, Timothy, this is you. And I'll be like, you're damn right, that's me. I recognize it, okay? I'm not trying to fight it and go to war with it. Why? Because I've done the work. So I hope that makes sense to all the panelists here. And, dealing with astrology, my generation is from 1972 to 1984. Pluto was in Libra for that whole generation. So if anybody that's on the panel or any listeners, Pluto coming in Libra means that our whole life is constructed around the transformation by relationships. I have not done one chart by one person. I've done hundreds, trust me, that there was not a divorce with somebody with Pluto and Libra, or a very vicious experience within the relationship, some glaring form of dysfunction. That's just why we are here. Okay. And again, it's all about the healing, because in relationships, we think healing is going back to how we felt in the beginning. Mm-hmm. You're no longer those two people or three people, whoever the hell you got in your tribe, but in your relationship circle, you're no longer there. You're searching for something that doesn't exist, because the transformation in relationships happen every 5 to 10 years. Mm-hmm. Me and my wife, we're not the same people that we were when we first met, nor do we desire to be, because we're more interested in what we are becoming than how we were when we met.
Very cool. Kiana, hold your thought. I want to get to Osir because the sun is setting over there.
There we go.
Osir, give us, what would you add to the mirror conversation? How does mirror work operate inside of relationships for you?
When we talk about mirror work, I also want to bring in the trick mirror. Many times when we meet someone, let's say we meet someone at an event and you are on the same resonance, but then and you move into a relationship and you find that the other shoe drops and this person is nothing like what they were when we met. So there was a trick mirror. So here's the situation there. Either that person who is not holding your true frequency, who just put that frequency up to had that frequency at that event, but they want that frequency. So being in a relationship with you, if they can stand the heat, they can ultimately move to that frequency. Now, that's the reality. In many cases, they will ultimately get thrown out the vortex.
Wow.
But they'll find themselves with the same kind of person, and until they come to the realization, that's what I want to be like. That's what I want to experience. And now I need to do the work to experience that and not experience that. So I'm going to just hang out right here till the darkness just fades me out. Thank you for that.
That is so cool, because really, and I've seen this. You know how people meet somebody and they're really having a good time, and then somebody goes ghost. I got that. You think here. Somebody goes ghost, right? To me, Osir, that's what's happening, is they see the gap. It's like, wow, I really like this person, but, I'm not the person that they need, right? So they disappear, they go.
Well, they don't want to do the work.
Well, they may go to do the work.
Okay.
Because a lot of times people, that type of work, you have to isolate. You really do have to go into a solitude and deal. And you may have to go find a therapist, a mentor, a coach to help you deal with those demons that you haven't been able to face. Because that mirror that person you were with, Yeah, they're not bringing up your demons. They're bringing up your future. They're bringing up somebody that you cannot even get to. Does that make sense? And yeah, because I was telling people, I said, sometimes people leave you so they can work on themselves. But by the time they come back, you done already made up your mind with, because you haven't dealt with your abandonment issues or whatever that is. So sometimes that mirror, and I love that trick mirror could very well be an indicator to the person, seeing their reflection, or you giving them their reflection, could be an indication for them, you need to get some work done. And this relationship could be possible, but you got to go and get some work done. And then some of us have to hold the space. That's a whole new conversation, but Kiana, what do you want to have? What do you want to add to the trick mirror and holding the space and ghosting?
I'm like, she's in my life right now, okay? Tim always on me and Brother Tim. We, always talk on Facebook, we've done some work together, so he always is like so on point. I have a very unorthodox, out of the box relationship. I've been married 16 years, almost 17. We've been in separation twice. We're currently in separation. I'm also Pluto and Libra. He's definitely my twin flame. He definitely has learned a lot. I call him master teacher. And so the mirror work, one of the things that I have learned about mirror work is like how you see yourself. Your partner shows you how you see yourself. So when you are feeling like they are, just like the scum of the earth, or they're just a terrible person or whatever, however, we get our feelings, we're mad at them or whatever, that's you. You're seeing you. So this is how you see yourself. And vice versa. When you are seeing them, it's just like, oh my God, you see the God in them, and you just see like all this, potential and whatever. You're seeing you. You're just seeing yourself. So your mirror work is how you see yourself. What triggers you? What gets your goat? Like, you got to look at what's making you mad, what's making you sad, what's making you frustrated. Like, what are some of the things that they do, their behaviors, their speech, how they communicate? Even, I've heard people say, oh my God, he breathed wrong, right? So, what's triggering you? And then get into the bottom of it, because it's just hurt. He's hitting the pain body that's inside of you. So then doing the work to get down inside of that and see like, okay, when I was little, my mom used to yell at me for breathing wrong, right? So you get to look at that piece and really